Yo, Laurent.
Yo, yo, here we are again, missing our other co-host, one and only Mehrdad, probably crying in some dark corner out there, given today's result. So it's unfortunate I don't personally get to see it, but it is what it is, and I'll make sure to let him know the next time he comes back for the next podcast.
Jeez, bro. That's how you're gonna start it? Man, couldn't even say, congratulations to him and the missus.
Yeah,
Yo,
man.
that said he's probably crying.
Listen, yeah, no,
Holy.
yeah, I'm sure there's some tears of joys as well. Given obviously, right, the fact that he's now a father. So yeah, no, real shit though. Congratulations to him and him and the wife, the family. More blessings to them along the way, and yeah, with this new journey that they're about to embark together. And that's where the kindness stops. Because at the end of the day, it is business here at the Gunners Corner. And I mean, business wasn't taken care of, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. So what say you, CJ?
Yeah. First of all, welcome back. Ladies and gentlemen, it's me and Laurent holding it down today. Um, and yeah, for a little bit of further context, for those who don't know, I think we um mentioned it last podcast, but yeah, Laurent, not Laurent, sorry, Mehrdad is now a father officially. Congrats to them. His wife, fiance gave birth um, a couple days ago to twins. Alive twins, right?
Yep, yep.
Yeah, to twins. So yeah, man, damn. Um, Big steps, man. Two new Gooners in the world. Yeah, man is now a father officially, and yeah, congrats to him.
I mean, that's not
Um,
confirmed yet. Chelsea FC and their social media is out there. So and listen, nowadays you don't know what your kids are doing on their iPads, their iPhones, right? Parents aren't really tracking it like that. So don't be surprised, Mehrdad, if they get themselves a Chelsea kit, a João Pedro kit, as that's bound to be the new face, I think, of Chelsea for the years to come. So
Listen, if he sticks around, bro, because you guys are a mess right now, so you better hope
yeah,
that you guys can call him to stay. You know what I mean?
mm, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, bro. All types of protests are happening at the bridge right now, man. It's not great times over there. You would
I
never
mean,
know it though, because the way
mm,
you're smiling today, at the gatherings, all excited every time a City player got on the ball. Ladies and gentlemen, for those who don't know as well, also Laurent is a part-time City fan as well. So you know, that's why he's still in a good mood today, you know.
in the best of moods, in the best of moods, I had to endure the Arsenal chants. Uh, Honestly, I gotta admit though, these are some pretty nice chants that you guys do have going for yourselves. But yeah, no, like the atmosphere was good, I thought, at the gatherings.
Yeah, the best so far that I've been
Yeah,
to at least, yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, I agree. I agree, and I hope that it only gets better, given also the Champions Leagues, right, and how that's looking. Yeah, because I feel like the only thing, right, obviously the sound for
Oh
today's
yeah,
game.
yeah, the
Yeah,
audio. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. The audio was the best, but other than that, no, it's an experience, right? So for those of you watching, listening to the podcast, right, if you live close to the gatherings on St. Clair and Young, make sure check it out, right, for the big games. And it's an Arsenal bar. And yeah, the community there is quite exceptional. And there's all sorts of characters, as they say, in there. So yeah,
And so now officially this is where all the compliments and the flowers end, right? because
I,
that was bold of you to say. I'm surprised exceptional. That's a big word. I'm glad you enjoyed the atmosphere. The only thing
mm,
you were missing was a red kit, but I'm glad you
yeah,
enjoyed it.
you listen. You'll never catch me in red kit. Supposedly there's a picture of me out there, right? In a red kit, right? That still hasn't been produced.
Man
So I
United
don't know.
specifically, which is
Mm,
even worse. If it was an Arsenal kit, we would allow you, but
right, right, right. But hey, man, feel free to pull up that evidence whenever you guys feel like it. But till then, right? I claim false news. So
mm,
yeah, yeah. I'm beating the allegations, as they say.
damn. Well, listen, the blue side of Manchester, again, you seem to be very happy about today's result. I have to ask you though, where is this energy coming from? Because, not too long ago on a podcast you said, you tried to say, yeah, genuinely, I want the best for you guys this season and I hope you guys do go on to win it. Now maybe you were only talking about the Premier League,
Mm.
but yeah, bro, you should be if your club isn't involved, you should be wanting, your fellow co-hosts and there's a lot of people around you that are Arsenal fans. You got
Ha,
some people
ha.
in your circle who are Arsenal fans, so you should want
Mm.
your people to prosper, you know what I mean?
Right, right, right. The same people who keep reminding me of Mickey Mouse this, Mickey Mouse that, right? These are the people you're saying I should want to prosper. The
Listen,
who like to discredit all achievements that Chelsea have acquired as of late. Even looking to take back our Champions League win, right? Saying that we cheated, we did this and that. So again, man, I feel like you are deserving of all treatment that you are getting from me at this point is what I'll say. So, all
but you know
right.
what it is? You know what it is though? It's like, do you know when little brother, your younger brother just pipes up and like is just like talking too much, and then you have to like let them know that you have to remind them that you're big bro, and you kind of got to like put them in their place. Like when little bro, you see those ones where like little bro is trying to fight big bro, and like he's swinging, and then big bro just like is like doing this, like
Mm,
on the little bro's forehead, and just has him at arm's length, and little bro's just
mm,
trying to swing and just, but he can't connect, because little bro is
mm.
just a few inches taller than him, older than him. So
Right.
it's one of those like little bro keeps piping up. So it's like that's the only reason why we gotta kind of like, put little bro in their place sometimes and just remember to, tell them to respect their elders and their seniors.
Bro, listen, I'm speaking for myself. I don't know about the other Chelsea fans. Maybe the other Chelsea fans that you guys encounter are giving you guys troubles. I'm only on the defensive at all times, right? Uh, you guys want to say, right, we're a small club in this, and all I do is I just want, if we're so small, why do we have two Champions League? Why are we the world champions? Right? And that's legit all I am doing. All right? I'm just defending myself and my club, right? Which I think everyone would do. So I don't think I've ever threw the first punch, if I'm being real.
That's crazy.
You, you
That's crazy of you to say.
you tell me, man. You tell me, because listen, the evidence are in the archives, right? For those at home listening, go back to the first episodes and see which side of the banter, right, is this coming from. Heck, there's a banter section there for a reason. It's for you guys to once the record button gets hit, you guys can, poke your fun at the other co-host that isn't part of the tribe. And yeah, so essentially, I got to defend myself, and that's all I'm doing.
Damn, so
But
you've never been on the offensive.
no, I don't think so. I personally don't think so.
Wow.
I think from day one, since we had the idea of starting this pod, I've always been on the defensive. I've that's
Damn. That is crazy. Because bro, when one of the times I can say for sure that you came with the most chest was when the Stamford Bridge game prior that whole build up. Do you remember from the start of the season until the very first encounter we met this season at Stamford Bridge? Obviously, the
mm,
1-1 result when you guys had
mm,
10 men in that. You were
right.
looking forward to that game from the beginning of the season, like 2, 3 months prior to in advance. You were like, yeah, when's that game on the calendar? All right, November this date, whatever it was.
Mm.
Yeah, right? I'll see you guys there. I'll see you guys there. That whole week, the build up to that whole week, I think even 2 weeks before, not even a week before the match, 2 weeks before, as we started creeping closer and closer to the game, you were hyping Bear, bro, and just coming with the most like chat, just saying, "Yo, we're gonna deal with you guys at the bridge, this and that." Heck, he even pulled up to gatherings, and soon as the whistle blew, kickoff started, man was just chatting. Every fucking foul, every tackle, it's like, I get big, this and that. You don't remember that? You don't remember the energy you're coming with? I can say obviously we've played three other times since then,
Mm-hmm.
and your energy hasn't been as loud. But
Mm,
definitely prior to that Stamford Bridge game, that's the most loud you've been all season when it comes to the Chelsea and Arsenal the bands.
mm,
I
mm.
don't know if you remember those times.
No, I remember. I remember,
All
right? Like
right, bless.
that one time. But do you guys remember how many times you guys have been trying to discredit Chelsea's accomplishments, put us like, put our name in the dirt? It's constant. Listen, it's on air and off air, if we're being real,
Mm.
right? So it's like as soon as this podcast is done, I'm gonna take off my mic. I'm gonna get on my phone, open up my WhatsApp, and I can expect some Chelsea memes, some Instagram posts, right? Like just trying to put Chelsea's name further in the dirt. So I'm constantly out here having to deal with this shit. So you tell me, right? You tell me. So yeah, like if I want to have my moment, right? And I generally did think that we would beat you guys. That was the one where we drew 1-1, right? And
Yeah,
then
yeah, yeah.
Caicedo had the red card. Yeah, yeah. No, I genuinely did think that that was a game where we could even put a dent in that armor, right? Because I think it's been what, how many years since the last victory? Over 5?
Since you guys beat us,
Yeah,
yeah, we're going back to like 2021. I'm pretty sure.
right, right. Yeah, so again, right? You had the also the Maresca effect, the Club World Cup, right? We thought we were ready, and obviously that's not how that's not how that game went. But yeah, man, listen, Chelsea, bro, we'll be back. We'll be back. I keep telling you guys this. Hey, you guys have your fun, right, for now. But yeah, Chelsea, bro, we're not going anywhere, man. Unlike Tottenham, where we're not going anywhere.
Yeah. Well, I rate your optimism. It might be a typical the fan in you talking because shit, there's a lot of Chelsea fans around the world crashing out at the moment. It looks like you guys are going sort of on a downward spiral instead of up, in my
Mm,
opinion, at
mm,
least. I think there's a lot of trouble and turmoil at the club, but we'll get there. I mean, we have a lot of time now to talk about things and kind of take a pause and sit back and see where we're at. It's the international break now, so I feel like all around we're gonna pretty much, I guess, dissect where our clubs are at and what we think is going to be happening going forward. So that might not be a conversation for today, but yeah, like I said, man, I don't know. I think there's a lot of trouble and a lot of issues at Chelsea at the moment. So sure, yeah, like things, you could be back, but it's just a matter of when. These things happen in swings and roundabouts, as I've talked about, and it's crazy to see because once upon a time we were in the position that Chelsea's in right now. We were the banter club, and online, everything that you would see banter-wise would be all Arsenal and protests, at our own ground for, getting our owners out, which we haven't seen for a while because we're in a good moment. And them times when we were the banter club and we were getting slapped by, the biggest clubs in the league, Man U, Chelsea themselves, Liverpool. Yeah, it was dark days, but now we're seeing the likes of now we're competing at the top, albeit we haven't won yet. But we're in a good position. And then now you see the likes of Chelsea in turmoil, and even Man United, and even I guess Liverpool to some extent, but it's probably just a one-off season for them. Let's see how they bounce back. Spurs, so our traditional big six clubs. I mean, it's not looking so great for a lot of them. But from
right.
our side, it's only I think our chest, as I like to say, us coming with chest and talking with the chest can only really be solidified if we have the silverware at the end of the season to support it. Then yeah, I guess then other rival clubs can't say too much until it's their turn to get back into the mix. But yeah, that's where I stand on it, man. I feel like, if and I'm gonna say when because I am confident that we'll get something over the line this season. If and when we do get over the line this season, then I'll feel confident enough to keep talking with chess to the rival fans and little bro, as I like to say. Yeah, man. You guys, I'm telling you, man, if you guys better go into hiding. If we win one of the majors this season, you guys better go into hiding because it's gonna be a long summer, bro. Us Arsenal fans, we're going on holiday, bro, all over the world. We're about to be loud and proud, bro. You know?
Bro, it's like I said, for me, you guys take the Premier League by all means. Right? Take the Premier League. I don't care. So long as you guys do not get your hands on the Champions League, I'm good. I am good. So
Really? So
yeah,
you don't mind if we win the Premier League at all?
no, no,
Oh
no,
shit. So you'll even be at the parade too, is what you're saying. You'll be part of all the
no.
celebrations.
Don't fucking kill me.
This guy's
Yeah,
coming to
no,
all the celebrations.
yeah. Most like I will not be at the parade, for obvious reasons. But yeah, no. I think in terms of the Premier League, right? I mean, at this point, yeah, you and City are competing for that. Obviously, they have a game in hand, right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So for me, it's yours to lose if we're being real. Now, in terms of the Champions League, this is where it starts to get a bit weird, especially on the back of today's performance, right? We're gonna address that game, but listen, you guys did get a favorable draw in terms of where you were seated, right? On in the bracket, and it's the road to the finals for me, for Arsenal.
Hmm.
But the question then becomes, well, does Arsenal have it in them to play the type of football that is necessary to get over the line in cup, right? Cup games, as they say. Um, and yeah, I think that's one of the questions also we'll look to address further on in this podcast. Because if we're being real, right, off of today's performance, you face any of those teams on the left, you do not get away with right, getting past two legs.
On the left of the
Uh,
Champions League bracket, you're saying.
yeah, yeah, on the left, and it's even like I don't know, Barca Atletico, right? Yeah, no, I think those teams also would look to punish, right, that kind of play. So yeah, no, it's something for Mikel Arteta, right? That even the fans that to come into question. So.
Yeah, all right. Well, I mean, yeah, we can start diving into it, I guess, because that's a good segue right
Hmm.
there. And again, obviously, ladies and gentlemen, episode 93, I believe it is. Yeah.
Hmm.
You're back with us. And for those who are watching and listening from an Arsenal persuasion, we're here and we had to turn up. At least I had to turn up nonetheless. Mehrdad couldn't be here. Um, we had a special guest on last podcast in the name of African Gooner who came with a lot of chest as well, to Laurent and was hyping up. Um,
Where you at, Irfan?
yeah,
I hope you're listening.
neither of them are here. Yeah, hope you're listening as well, man. Because yeah, neither Irfan nor Mehrdad or any other Arsenal fan is here to take the brunt of what was a difficult day. But here I am, today showing face and representing for the lads for the Arsenal. So I'll hold it. I'll hold it down. Show face. Win, lose or draw, I got to be here. And yeah, man, as much as it's difficult, sometimes after you lose and you lose a cup final, especially the way we did, it's like sometimes you just want to go into your shell and kind of just dissect it on your own and maybe not talk about it for a couple of days until you're over it. But yeah, man, we're doing this right off the, this is the same day. I mean, by the time you guys are listening to it, it'll be tomorrow, it'll be Monday. Or we're recording Sunday night, which is same day of game day. So which sometimes, it's good to get both the perspective from a raw emotional standpoint, right? Which a few hours after the game, and then also, you maybe have a different perspective a couple days after you get a chance to debrief and sleep on it and whatever. So, but yeah, this is our raw reaction to the game. Again, recording same day of the result, and yeah, man, it wasn't a good one. I think it was an eye opener, um, as Laurent I think was alluding to in terms of there's certain things you can get away with in the league, and certain things you can't get away with when it comes to the cup competitions, right? And I think Mikel Arteta, forgot that today was a cup final that we had to win. I think he thought that we can get a draw in this game, you know what I mean, and get 1 point on the board and keep it moving.
Mm.
Like, no, sir.
Right.
Today is one of those, you either win or you lose. You can't sit in and get a draw and
Mm-hmm.
hope for the best and keep it moving. This isn't the league phase. This isn't the Premier League. This isn't points accumulation on the board and go again next week. Like, this is a one-off final, and this is win or go home, as they say, you know?
Mm.
Um, so to your point, man, it's one of those for me where this was an eye opener in the sense that, again, like, this further diminishes my confidence in us being able to win the Champions League this season, if I'm being honest, because again, when it comes to cup competitions and it comes to a cup final, right? You have to go out and I've even said this in regards to the Premier League, you need to go out and show that you want to win the game or win the league. You have to go out and grab it. You can't wait for it to come to you. Do you know what I mean? And our approach to this game, right? And again, the game in question is the EFL Cup final today, our 2-1 loss to Man City. Our approach to the game didn't really scream to me as one of someone who wanted to go out to win the game. You know what I mean? It was kind of like we'll sit around and wait for something to happen and take advantage of a chance or catch them on the break. And you see what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't Man City's approach to the game. They looked like they wanted to win the game from the jump. And yes, I understand the way we started the game was actually our most promising spell in the game and probably our only spell in the game where it looked like we could do something. It was like the first 20
Mm.
minutes or so. And I
Right.
said to one of our boys sitting next to us, shout out Yvonne, I said, we should score. If we don't score in this period, it could be a long day for us, right? Because when we were on top and we had the momentum, I felt like we needed to score in that period. Once City settled into the game, we didn't really see much for the rest of the game, to be honest with you, in terms of clear-cut chances and damaging their back line. A back line that had no Mark Gahey and no Ruben Diaz, right? They didn't have their first choice center backs,
Mm.
which is a shame as well. Because again, if they don't have their first choice center backs, right, why do we not test them more? And again, that also for me, you question the manager's approach. It's like, let's not we're playing not to lose as opposed to playing to try to win. And you can't do that in a cup game, bro. Again, this is not the league. This is not like you go to an away ground and you sit in and like I said, you get a draw maybe and you keep it moving. Like, you can't do that in a cup final. You have to, there's no hiding place in a cup final, right? You have to go out and try and win it, and your stars have to show up to help you win the match and help you get over the line. And I just feel like, yeah, too many things got exposed today, whether it's individual players, whether it's the manager, right? When we're talking about the master versus the student, clearly we saw today who the master is and who the student is, once again, in terms of the coaches, right? Um, Pep outdid Arteta, and Arteta, to me, it looked like a little bit of fear. Again, a fear of Man City, a fear of that old, the hoodoo of the Man City sort of, dangling over our heads of that one final boss that you're trying to overcome that's been haunting you for years and you're not able to get over the line. And yes, this is the first time they've beaten us in head to head in quite a few games, to be honest with you. I think it's five games or so. But still, these are the bright lights in a cup final. And again, I think Pep and his team showed the experience where we kind of walked out with our tail between our legs.
Mm.
Um, to be honest. And it's just, yeah, it's a shame, man. Like for most of it, I think we were calling for early substitutions to start the second half, right? Calafiori was our most dangerous player in the game when he came on, and he came on a little bit too late. Obviously, he had that effort that hit the post. That was
Mm.
probably right one of the only things we did in that second half in terms of offensive threat. But once Calafiori came on and he got on the ball, he actually started to look a little bit dangerous for us. Before that, it was again we didn't have the personnel on the pitch to damage them. And you mentioned it, Laurent, to Yvonne, our boy Yvonne, who was there with us watching the game, that the lineup that we started with, right, shouldn't have been an excuse still because we still had a midfield. Like on paper, when you look at a midfield of Declan Rice, Zubimendi, and Kai Havertz, who was pretty much, the Kai Havertz was just in front of those two, playing just in behind the striker. That on paper should still be good enough,
Mm-hmm.
to cause problems. So we can't use the excuse too much that, oh, we didn't have Eze or we didn't have Odegaard, like we didn't have the creativity. Again, look at what they were missing, right? They were missing their center backs. They didn't start with Donnarumma and net. So why did we not, look to cause more problems to them? In fact, like I said, we did the opposite. After that first 20 minutes, it just felt like we just sat in. We sat in, we sort of camped out, not fully, but it was like a mid to low block on in and around our half on the edge of the 18-yard box. We had 10 guys behind the ball for a lot of it. And anytime we looked to break, if we cleared the ball, it was just going up to nobody. You
Right.
know, we
Right.
whenever we cleared the ball, or we tried even to get out. You just hoof it long to a Gyökeres maybe who's isolated up top on his own, nobody with him, and that's easy for their backline to deal with all day, right? And all it's going to do is just going to come straight back to us. So we were just under pressure, under pressure, under pressure. Yes, we saw at the half, managed to get into halftime 0-0. And then you're thinking, right, okay, looks like we're on the ropes here. We're gonna have to make a change or a couple changes. And if we are gonna play that sort of game, right, if we're gonna sit in a little bit and then look to catch them on transition, then you got to have pace on the pitch, um, on the counterattack. You see what I'm saying? And we didn't even think to bring on a Martinelli or a Madueke even until it's too late. Right? We didn't look to make the changes until we were 1-0 down. 2-0 down now, and those changes should have came earlier. The Calafiori change, Brendan Capier should have came at halftime. And a lot of us were saying that, right? If we can all see that in the gatherings, talking amongst ourselves, like surely the manager should be able to catch these things earlier, The
Right.
changes came way too late, in my opinion. And again, if we're gonna try and sit in and frustrate City, you have to have the personnel on the pitch that when we get out and when we break, we have pace, right? Trust like on the break when we clear that ball, let's say I think Capier or Gabriel or whatever clears that ball out of the back line, or we try and play a long ball over the top. Like Trossard isn't going to run onto any ball and outrun their back line. Saka was having another stinker on the other side. Um, so the personnel just wasn't right, and we didn't have, the bravery. Let's say, in my opinion, Arteta didn't have the bravery to make the substitutions earlier on in the second half. And the substitutions, like I said, that I'm referring to, would have been Hincapié for Calafiori early on in that second half, and
Mm.
then, like I said, even Martinelli and Madueke, if we're going to play a transition sort of style of game, or just at least some pace for them to worry about to keep them honest, because it was easy for them to squeeze higher up the pitch, their whole team, like even the back line, just squeeze high up the pitch. The deeper we would retreat, of course, they're all going to step much higher, right? Including their back line, right? But if you have a Martinelli on the pitch or a Madueke, somebody who, like I said, can keep them honest, and they'll have to retreat a little bit with that sort of pace in behind, then they can't squeeze us and suffocate us as much as they did. In that period in the second half, I'm pretty sure we can all see it around that 60th minute when they scored or whatever it was. We can all see that goal coming because we just had no outlet. We had nothing on the transition, and we kind of just sat in and hoped for the best. And it would just at the end of the day, it wasn't a strategy that worked, man. And it's quite frustrating. I'm curious to know how you saw it and if you have anything different to add or anything that you disagree with even. But yeah, what was your thoughts on it?
Well, from my perspective, I just felt like the play going forward wasn't as positive. Also in terms of even I guess the overall urgency for me is a bit lackluster, right? And it's how you phrased it, playing for a draw, right? Obviously, if that's the result you're playing for, then your ambitions reflect, right, on
Hmm.
your style of play, even the type of passes you make, right? Whereas when you highlighted Calafiori and his appearance, right, and even that shot, right, that's what you're talking about, right? You're looking to go forward, right? Putting an effort on target, even sometimes if that shot isn't on necessarily, right?
Hmm.
Because maybe he could have looked across, right, or to pass that, right? And that was very close, right? Like you said, it hit the post and out, right? And for me, it's the fact that you have Saka, right, Gyökeres, obviously him being a striker that's relying on service. Um, you know, I don't think he got very little service this game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, if we're being real. But yeah, like and even the Havertz, right? There's players there who are of a certain quality, but it just didn't seem like for one anyone wanted to take the initiative on being the guy that wants to create, right? Because let's be real, these are the kind of games where it takes one guy, right? If we look back to the City versus Real Madrid, right? That first game, that was Valverde's,
Yeah.
right? That was Valverde's game, right? Um, like taking up the right positions, looking to go forward, right? And even if you look at I think it was that second goal that he scored, either the second or third, and then it was assisted by chip from Brahim Diaz. right? Even that,
Mm,
making that run, you see what I'm saying?
yeah,
Um, but for me, again, with Saka, especially him being the player that he is, um, I think a game like that falls on his shoulders, right? Where you can't be absent,
yeah. You
right?
were highlighting him a lot in this game.
Yeah, yeah, no, and it's sad because right, you mentioned that well, Saka is not the same, right? He's been played to the ground, right, in terms of the minutes
Hmm.
and the injuries, and as a result of that, right, he's off pace, essentially, right? But I still feel like you have to be more positive, right? Because again, like we saw, Madueke comes in, he's looking to drive, and now he's getting these fouls in
Yeah,
right good positions. And if set piece are your strong points, right? These are the kind of stats that you're looking to get, right? In terms of being fouled in certain positions to allow you to be in the scoring opportunities. But again, Saka did not show that, right? And the one thing I did mention to you guys as well was also the fact for me that no one seemed to want it to have stepped up, right? There's like no communications on that pitch for me in terms of players looking to rally a comeback, right? Locking in for a phase of the game, right? It kind of looked like everyone was pretty disconnected, right? In regards to that, and you know, the final whistle blows, and that's the game, right? So, yeah, no, I think in regards to Champions League football, right? And even the FA Cup, right? If we're being real, you find yourselves in a position like that. Again, you cannot play this way, right? It just will not work. Will not work because even if a team has lower quality players than you, the fact that they're even, they have that zeal about them, right? They can surprise you, right? And you can just lose a game like that, right? Out of you're not scoring, right? You're right. You're not putting yourself in position to score. You're playing passively, and all it takes is just one opportunity, right? And yeah, so there should be a wake up call, I'd say, right, for Arteta and the boys, and let's see how they bounce back from it.
yeah. It's just frustrating to me, man, because again, we try and defend the style of play at the moment, right? And we try and defend what is being considered negative tactics, and a lack of a will to win, right? Again, the common phrase of that with Arsenal and Arteta's Arsenal is like we're playing games not to lose as opposed to playing games to try and win.
Hmm.
So playing not to lose can only get you so far. And in the cups, like you said, um, there just simply is no hiding place when all the bright lights are on you, right? You
Hmm.
can't just keep getting away with it. And you know, it's yes, at some point somebody's got to go out there and grab the game by the scruff of the neck. Um, Again, and this is to your point, right? In the Champions League, we had me, you, and the boys after the game. We outside the gatherings, we had this discussion about where we can fall short compared to some of the other teams in Europe. And whilst we may be the most complete team in terms of like, it's a well-oiled machine from back to front. We got obviously our back line is elite. It gets into any team in the world, right? Our defenders collectively and individually, and then the rest of the team around it is a compact, well-drilled team. But there's certain moments where you're gonna need your certain guys to step up and your superstars to step up, right?
Hmm.
Barca's got Lamine Yamal, Rafinha, even like Lewandowski, even though he's a little bit older now. But in midfield, the guys like Pedri, PSG, you saw yourself firsthand. They've got the likes of Kvaratskhelia and Vitinha in midfield, and Ousmane Dembele, the Ballon d'Or winner, Barcola, like just guys with individual quality and brilliance. Bayern Munich, Harry Kane, Olise, Luis Diaz. Real Madrid, the Valverde, as you mentioned, he stepped up for them in that tie against City, right? Valverde, that's the captain, that's your star midfielder. Vinny Jr. is there. Obviously, Mbappe is there when he's fit. Um, certain teams that have built a reputation for themselves over the years in Europe, these are teams that have star quality. And I don't care what anyone says, you can be a good team, and in the case of Arteta, you can be a well-oiled machine, and you can control the players as much as you want to control them, right? In terms of it's like you have that control, that PlayStation control, and you can control this player to do this and do that. And under your leadership and stewardship, that players have to be here, and this player's got to do that, and it's all got to be the way you envision it in your head, and the player's got to deliver it in that way. Like, no, man, sometimes when a game is tight and it's edgy and it's cagey and it's nil-nil, sometimes you need a superstar player, or that's that extra bit of stardust quality to just, that player who's just gonna say, F this, bro. You know, I'm gonna do something here. I'm gonna take on two guys or whatever, or I'm gonna just, on a free kick, just put this in the top corner, or I'm just gonna be positive and grab the ball. And now again, I understand it's one thing to have it mentally and say you're mentally gonna do that, but physically being able to carry that out if you have the technical quality, right? I understand that, but yeah, man, it's just that's just the one thing that I feel like we're missing. It's just somebody with both this and the actual, and when I say this for the audio listeners, I'm pointing to my head, that's just the mentality, the confidence, the belief that you're going to be the man on the day, right? So you have to have that mentally, but you also have to have obviously the technical quality. And in my opinion, I think we just got to tell it how it is. The sad reality of it is I don't think we have the actual technical quality to we don't have our Lamine Yamal. Let's just put it that way, right? We don't have our Lamine Yamal. We don't have our Kevin De Bruyne. We don't have our Vinny Jr. I just think that's what it is. If am I being too harsh by saying that? Like, we try and be optimistic, right? And I'm not, Mehrdad's obviously the main optimistic one in this Arsenal panel, this Arsenal circle here. And sometimes I give the other perspective. But I think the honest assessment is, and you from the outside looking, you can tell me, like, I don't think we have a player of that caliber to carry us where we want to get to. Shit, in more relative terms that you'd understand, like an Eden Hazard or um, Arsenal fans would understand this, and Alexis Sanchez, like somebody who can just, again, when the team is just playing shit or the team is playing poor, who's just going to be that guy just with the extra bit of quality to step up on the day and win us the match? I don't think
But
we have that player.
funny enough though, like you don't think that Saka has the technical qualities to do that? Uh,
I think Saka is very much a system-based player. He grew up in the system and he's been coached by Arteta a certain way, and I think that's sort of all he knows. I say that with the most respect in the world to Saka. I think
hmm,
just playing under Arteta all this
right,
time has made him a certain way, and
right,
that's my fear for like our 16-year-old kid Max Dowman coming through. Right, I don't want Arteta to coach the freedom and the flair and the
right,
individuality. Let's say I don't want
right.
him to coach that out of Max Dowman. I feel like that has been coached out of Saka to a certain extent, in my opinion.
Oh, and that's a problem.
Yeah.
Like if I'm being completely real, I think that it's a coaching problem. Um, Obviously, right, if you're highlighting the academies, then it becomes a systematic problem,
Hmm.
right? Overall. And the reason why I say that is because one, just imagine a game like what we saw today, right? That first half, on a chessboard is pretty much stalemate. See what I'm
Hmm.
saying?
Hmm.
Piece for piece, right? You guys are evening yourselves out, right? Nothing's happening. We're at flat line, and in situations like that, right? You need those kind of players.
Hmm.
Like I don't even right. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, why would you coach that out, right? Because if you face a team, an opponent that just matches you, player for player, bar for
Yeah,
bar, right? At some point it's gonna take something that
to
hasn't
stand
been
out.
coached,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that right to break the game apart, and that's what we saw today. For me, in terms of like even Semenyo, right? Because you saw right the trouble that Semenyo was given to Nkapie,
Hmm.
um, and that's what those kind of players do, right? He's giving him a certain hesitation, right? Even the step overs, the angles going one way, right? And then the other. And suddenly now it's giving defenders a lot to think about, right?
Whereas
But
Saka
again,
looks really predictable at the moment. Huh.
yeah, 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 and that's an issue, right? And again, I mean, I know you guys do make the point that Arteta likes his players a certain way. He doesn't want the Vinny Juniors, those kind of players, because of philosophy, I guess it's the team first. Um, but I feel like it's gonna come back to haunt him, especially maybe you get away right in a league where you can play for those results, right?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can be tactical, but in terms of cup games, right? Champions League football, again, because on one end, for me, the way City set up too on the defensive side, they were well drilled. If you notice, right, even in terms of not pressing the center backs, I don't know if you right, they almost had like a line, um, where they had about four players.
Hmm.
At one point, sometimes it was flat, sometimes one Holland, right,
Hmm.
was leading
Hmm.
it, but they were compact, right, narrow enough so that the balls weren't going through the midfield,
Hmm.
and they were comfortable allowing Kepa, right, to play, and your two center backs weren't being pressed aggressively,
Mm.
right, because once you do that, it gives space in behind, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so they were set up very well defensively, right? So again, right, if you're playing a team that's set up in a certain way, right, to unlock that, right,
Hmm.
you need again like the Eden Hazard, right? Because players like that, they take players out of position, right? And you're now forcing other players to cover spaces and gaps, right? And
Yeah.
that leaves you with openings, right, to make passes and break lines. So,
Mm.
uh,
No, that's a good point. That is a very good point. And to be honest with you, I just wanted to say one more thing on the Saka thing actually,
mm,
as you're talking about it and just talking about that player who's going to create that moment. I just want to say this really quickly. Like, mind you, Saka's been playing under Arteta all these years, and thriving. Like, this is his first, we can say, genuinely poor season. You know what I mean? Like, Saka still, he's been playing it in Arteta's system, and prior to this year, he's still been producing. He's still been the guy. He's been putting up the numbers in terms of goals and assists, and helping us win games in key moments. So it's not to say that for years, Arteta hasn't been able to get the best out of Saka. He has done so prior to this season. What I think has really hampered Saka more than anything else is the big injury that
mm,
he got last season. And again, I may put a lot of that down to the manager and overplaying him. Um, but I think what's happening to Saka at the moment, I think is mainly due to that injury, that hamstring tear that he had part way through last season, that he needed an operation for. Again, this is a hamstring. His hamstring was, for those who don't know or remember, completely torn off the bone. He had an operation, obviously, that kept him out for 3 months, 4 months. And that's one of the worst injuries you can get in football, right? Especially a player who's a winger. You play in that wide position where you rely on explosiveness and change of pace and turn of pace. Um, Not all players can recover from that the same way. And I think what's happening at the moment, I think, is a result of that more than anything else, more than the system, more than how he's being asked to play. I think that injury has been affecting him to this day, to be honest with you. I think he maybe is overthinking things. I think again that's definitely affected his pace. I think he's lost maybe a slight yard of pace as a result of that. So he's not able to get away from players as with as much ease as he used to. And I think he's overthinking some of that. And I think, yeah, that's what I think has happened to him so far, post that injury, as to why he's no longer the same player at the moment. And I think that's the biggest shame because, again, I think, we could have managed him better over the years in terms of minutes and him playing minutes that he didn't need to play unnecessarily. I genuinely do think that is affecting him more than anything else. I don't have that based on any, factual information. That's just a hunch that I have, but I think that injury has definitely weighed him down. And I think what should have happened today, again, back to the bravery thing and back to the Mikel Arteta, um, because again, let's be honest, not sure if you feel the same way, but I definitely think part of the way the game turned out today and the result that we didn't get was on him tactically. I think he was outdone tactically, and I don't think he made, I think he made certain personnel errors. And again,
mm,
the fact that he kept Saka on for 90 minutes, right?
hmm
And the likes of Trossard as well, like those are two players where they're having stinkers, like absolute stinkers. And look at their wide players versus our wide players, right? Our wide players in this game, Trossard and Saka, nowhere to be found. Null and
mm,
void, not effective in any which way. And those guys stay on for 90 minutes, right? And especially in the case of Saka, you need to now, going forward, Arteta's going to have to be brave, right? He now has to make that decision to say, I'm going to drop you. You're the star boy, you're a star man, you're Saka, you're the poster boy of the club. We just gave you this big new contract, 300K a week. But at some point, the manager's got to be brave now and take him out of the firing line and say, "Yo, listen, you're not playing well. It's okay to take you off. He should have come off at the
mm,
60th minute mark in this game or earlier or whatever. It was Saka who switched off for the second goal, mind you, right?
right.
So the fact that he still got 90 minutes is like, listen, again, that's also on Arteta. You got to know when to take your guys out the firing line and say, "Yo, Like he's not having a good game. I'm not gonna keep playing him and overplay him, right, for 90 minutes like this. That's also that doesn't set I don't think a good precedent either to the other players. It's like, yo,
Mm,
this guy's having one of the worst games on the pitch, but yet he's staying on for 90 minutes just because he is Saka. You know what I mean? Like I don't think that that's right. Um, one more thing I wanted to mention quickly, with regards to the game. So we also talked about the fact that we need that bit of star quality, right, in games like this where the game is tight, both teams are playing chess. Who's going to be that extra man? Funny enough, for them, it wasn't even that won them this game, right? It wasn't even a Holland with a brilliant moment or a Semenyo
mm,
or a Doku or I don't know, like a Ryan Cherky that won them
hmm
the game with brilliance. They won this game. The game opened up from mistakes,
mm,
right? And the very first mistake, obviously the first goal. The first goal is the most important because that opens up the game. Um, Kepa, right? Let's just call it how it is.
mm,
Um, Again, we lost the game on pretty much that moment. I mean, that was the catalyst that led to us losing the game. But yeah, right. Funny enough, we didn't even lose the game off of individual brilliance from their end, where you say, ah, fair play. Turkey did something brilliant, or Semenyo did something brilliant, or Holland
mm,
bicycle. Like they didn't win the game off of that. So what we've been talking about, that wasn't really a factor in this game in terms of moments of individual brilliance that winning them a game. I think this was one off of mistakes, right? Uncharacteristic mistakes. And yeah, the Kepa moment was again the catalyst that led to us obviously going 1-0 down, and then I think the game is lost from there. Um, like, what are your thoughts? Again, hindsight. We talked about hindsight, right? 2020 vision and 2020 hindsight vision and hindsight was a wonderful thing and all that. There's a big call prior to the game about who should start in goal, Raya or Kepa.
mm,
And at a time in the last few weeks, funny enough, where we've been seeing and you know noticing a lot of managers in big games making decisions to change their keepers, right? Champions League, right? Spurs manager did it, Liam Rosinha did it, and it's cost them. And today it's cost us. I'm not going to sit here and say, before I get your thoughts on that, I'm not going to sit here and say, like Arteta got it wrong and like how dare he this and that because I'm not going to be one of those. Because prior to the game, I also didn't demand that Raya play. Even when I did the pre-match
mm,
preview, I said, okay, like I understand why he would put Kepa in. I understand it. Some would say yes. You play your first choice keeper. It's a cup final. There's no room for sentiment here, and why we don't have any loyalty to Kepa. Blah 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 blah. So I'm not going to sit here now and I guess crucify the guy for that. But there's a lot of fans online doing so and saying, this is why you play your first choice keeper and blah 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 blah. But that was a hot debate all week, right? Who do you play in goal?
mm, mm,
Um, City did it. They made the change in goal and it worked for them, but it backfired for us. So at the end of the day, you have to say Arteta got it wrong, right? When you take a gamble like that and it doesn't work, then you obviously that decision falls on you.
mm.
Um, but what are your thoughts on that and like the whole thing with Kepa coming in for this game? Like, would you have done it? Do you think it was wrong? Do you understand why he played Kepa still? Because I'll add this in quickly before I get your thoughts. Arteta was asked afterwards if it was a mistake, or he was asked about that situation, and Arteta's response, and I'm paraphrasing, Arteta responded by saying, "I would do it again next time around," as in he would still play Kepa,
Mm.
again,
Cool.
regardless of the mistake.
Mm.
So, like, what are your thoughts on that, and how do you feel about the whole thing?
I mean, I can see it in both light. Um, Obviously, right? Yeah, the first choice is the first choice for a reason. Right? They're proven, they're reliable in comparison to the backup keeper. But at the same time, in this case, every time you guys have deployed Kepa, right, for these games, right, these cup games, he's been solid.
Hmm.
Up to that point, Kepa has shown no indication to why you wouldn't want to give him the start, right, in a game like this. So yeah, I do think it's more so a case of hindsight is 2020
Mm,
in this, right? But yeah, no, I mean again, right? I can see it both ways, right? You can start Raya, but I think Kepa deserved to start as well in this game, and it's unfortunate, right? That first one was when he tried to catch it and it went through.
went through, yeah.
But that was the only mistake, though, no?
It was pretty much the only mistake, yeah. But
Okay.
it is the crucial mistake that
Right.
costs us
Yeah.
and opens up the game. But
Yeah.
yeah, unfortunately. I mean, some would say, well, was it his only mistake? I mean, we had the incident where he came rushing out of his goal, right? Remember that one? He was tussling with Doku, and he
Oh
got the
yeah.
yellow card.
Yeah. Yeah.
Usually when we see Raya do that, he sweeps it up like there's no problem. Raya plays that sweeper keeper role all the time, comes out
Mm,
whenever he comes out and collects, he
mm,
gets there. We don't really see too many of those errors where he comes out and then I don't know, misses the ball or whatever, and or the striker gets there first.
right.
And at that point it becomes, you're jostling with the forward the way Kepa did. Like it doesn't off we don't often see that with Raya. When Raya comes out,
Right.
he's getting there. So that was the only other mistake that Kepa, I guess, made. It didn't cost us a goal at that time, but that was prior to the first goal. And at that time, you're thinking, oh, these are alarm bells, these are concerning signs because, is it a sign of things to come in terms of, errors and mistakes? And
Right.
you've seen it yourself, right? In the PSG game, the first leg with Jurgensen, it's like, you can play well up to a certain point in the game, but I guess what separates the elite from, the tier
Right.
below is, you got to be switched on fully for 90 minutes.
Yeah.
A one
Yeah.
moment of lapse of concentration costs you and costs the team.
It's a good point.
It's one of those.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. Um, I mean, on another note, there's also the aspect of he's a backup keeper. He also has to get experience. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And these are the kind of games where you do allow your keepers to get experience, right? Because again, right, there's a certain risk that the manager and the team has to account for, right? What happens if Raya gets picks up an injury? You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
now suddenly, right, you have to rely on the backup keeper. But if that backup keeper ha is not seeing, right, X amount of games, he's not getting that experience, then again, right, you're not investing, right, per in the growth of one of your players. So I feel like on with that point in mind, right, you do have to allow him to play, right? And again, aside from that, for me, um, Kepa has shown no indication, right, that you shouldn't start him in this kind of game. So yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, I guess it's fair. It's a fair point. Either way, the decision was made, and yeah, it's something that Arteta is gonna have to hold, and we're gonna have to, it's unfortunate. Yeah, you put your faith in the guy. He plays. He makes a mistake, but at this point now, you just got to rally behind
Mm,
him, and there's no point of, I guess singling him out, right? It's a team game at the end of the day. And at the end of the day, you made this point too, even when we were talking about Gabriel and Saliba and that. It's like, it's not just, everyone else has got to step up as well, right? It's not just, yes, the keeper made his mistake, but where was everybody else in the game? The game was played over the course of 90 minutes. So, no one else
mm,
stepped up to the plate when we needed it. Because at 1-0 down, shit, even 2-0 down, you're still in the game,
mm,
technically, right? All it takes is, we had time on our side to get back in the game. But the way we play, right, and the way we were playing, and the lack of urgency that we play with, or the lack of, that penetration, and the lack of urge and just front forward thinking, it never looked like we were going to get back in the game, right? Even at 1-0 down, at 2-0 down. I think one of our guys, whether it was Nabi or Yvonne who was watching the game with us, said it to you like, oh, like there's still time. I think Nabi might have said, oh,
yeah,
there's still
yeah,
time. And you're like,
yeah,
no, no, it's over.
yeah,
And yeah, man, even I knew it was over right at that moment. Like again, 2-0
yeah.
usually, that's a dangerous scoreline, as they say, and there's still time to get back into a game at 2-0 when, at the 60th minute. That's plenty of time. But
But
the
you
way
see
we
it,
you
yeah,
can
you
just tell
see
the
it
way the game was
in
going,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah. And
Yeah,
it's again for me, it's like banter aside, right? I think when they say Haram ball this, right? Like set pieces, all of that aside, I think you guys just the passes are too risk averse at times. You know what I'm saying? Like
yes. Trust me, yeah, I know.
and yeah, bro. And to me, again, like that's not football, right? Um, and even any sport, right? Like basketball, like you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, sometimes you gotta throw in a pass, right? Like a
Mm.
bounce pass that looks like it's not gonna make it. But you gotta trust the quality in your players, right? To be able to make those kind of passes, right? Because again, when a team is set up defensively well, the passes that everyone sees aren't the passes that are going to allow you to exploit any
For
advantage.
sure. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Because they see it. That's why they're set up in that way, right? So it's going to take some form of backdoor pass. Um, and yeah, I mean, a guy like Odegaard, I think, right? And even Eze, right? You could argue those would have been the guys, right? That could have
Mhm.
had the eye for that, right? But yeah, no, although I do want to hear your thoughts on I mean Declan Rice. What kind of
Mhm.
game did you think he had, right? And whether or not he showed up to the degree that you guys usually I don't know, I think it would be safe to say you guys expect certain
Yeah.
performances of him in these kind of games now, right? Like how he did in the Madrid games last year. So yeah, what did you think of him?
Yeah, yeah, that's and I like the word you use, what we expect from him, right?
Mm,
Because there's conversations of him now. And I guess you'll on the banter side of things you'll agree to this well, right? Many people will say Arsenal and Arsenal fans we tend to sometimes overinflate our players or overboost our players too much. And there's been talks about Declan Rice being amongst some of the one of the best midfielders in the world, and this and
hmm
that. So yeah, man, that honestly that word that you use, expect, is true. There's high expectations on Declan Rice, right? When you come with that kind of price tag and you're hyped up as much as you are, right? By the whether it's by because a lot of these players sometimes they don't ask for that sort of hype, right? It's a lot of it is the media and fans and whatnot. Um, but he is in the spotlight. You play for a big club, you play for a team who's top of the league, and you know, yeah, there's certain level of expectation. He does a lot of work in the media and talking to he does interviews on Sky and talks to ex-professionals. There's a brilliant interview with Declan Rice and Thierry Henry that came out this past week on the Arsenal channel. For those who didn't haven't seen it yet, definitely I recommend go listening to that. It's on the Arsenal, I think, website, or you can listen to it on the Arsenal app. Declan Rice and Thierry Henry had a good chat there. But yeah, man, this is the guy who's always, he's always in the limelight one way or another, on or off the field, and he's a big character, and a big presence at our club, one of our captains, one of our leaders. And yeah, you expect again that word, you expect a lot from him. And again, he says a lot he talks a lot. He says a lot of chat. He says a lot of the right things. He says he knows that certain things are not good enough, and he'll come out and say it when it's not good enough, and he'll come out and say what our ambitions are. And he's mentioned on a number of occasions, he came here to win trophies at this club, and our ambitions are to win leagues and to win trophies. Um, so, he's one of the people that you look at first and foremost when the team isn't performing up to its optimum best, because again, you're looking at somebody like him to be able to carry the team. Whether you like that weight of expectation or not. I mean, if you're being put in conversations about one of the best midfielders in the world, and future Ballon d'Or, and the likes of Steven Gerrard and Frank Lampard and some of the legendary Premier League midfielders we've seen in this league over the years, then yeah, that comes with a certain level of expectation, right? And again, when you say all the right things, Declan Rice, in the media, and you say all the right things in your interviews, so yeah, we need you to deliver. And unfortunately, in a cup final, that's when you're gonna, either sink or swim the most, right? Because again, all the lights are on you in a cup final. So it's either you perform and you get all the praise, or you go hiding or you go missing,
hmm
and you're gonna have to get fairly criticized and scrutinized. And I'm not gonna say he went missing, because I don't think he went missing, but he
mm
definitely didn't have a game you'd expect for a big player in a final. I don't think he got a hold of the game enough. I don't think we saw him on the ball enough.
mm
Um, to damage the opposition. Again, maybe that's because we were most of the game most of the game prior to the first 20 minutes was spent sort of us again, we were sort of retreating into a deeper block defending. Right? They had most of the ball City, especially in that second half. So um on the ball, right? That's what you expect your midfielders to do for you. Get on the ball and make things happen. And we didn't see enough of that from him, I thought, right? Again, whether that's a
mm
system thing, but again, we're talking about a player who's engraved in the system as well. So maybe he didn't do enough in his own mind to be that player who's going to say, yeah, F this, I'm going to
mm
take the ball. I'm going to do something that isn't
mm
necessarily a managerial instruction. I'm going to take the ball and I'm going to be that sort of guy to give us a creative spark, right? Or give us that bit
Right,
of individuality, or give us that bit of brilliance,
right.
and just take the game by the scruff of the neck. We didn't see that from him in this game. I think that's fair to say, right? I think we saw a player who just went through the motions, like everybody else sort of did, right? And didn't do enough, to your point, from a leadership role
Mm,
perspective, to galvanize the troops. So he didn't really show that in his performance, and he didn't show that vocally, right? He didn't show any of that in terms of leadership and guiding us through. I think it was a bit more of the game passed him by, and I think they're out mid
mm,
their midfield. outclassed him in our midfield, I think,
Right,
unfortunately.
right. Yeah, no, and I mean, from previous games that I've seen him play in,
Mm.
I have seen those tendencies of him to talk to
Yeah, yeah,
to the
absolutely.
players, and yeah, because again, when you're in a slump per se, right, in a game, right, you don't have the momentum, bro. That's I think that's what it takes
Mm.
to get certain players to actually lock in, right? And for those who have played, you'll understand, man, because like I play games where you're not playing well, and then you see one of your teammate is just fucking going out there, right, doing something, and shit, like you almost feel like a sense of guilt, right? Because that's right, that's your teammate, right? And on the field, that's it's like a family member kind of thing, right?
Hmm.
And for someone to be putting all this effort, right, trying to do something, and you're not pulling your weight, right? Like it calls to you, right? Um, so yeah, for me, again, right, beyond this game, I think Arsenal, especially in the Champions League competition, right, if you do face those higher caliber of opposition, right, and you're playing a game where it's right, the same tempo, it's sluggish. Those guys, Declan Rice, Saka, obviously, right, given the captaincy for the moment. And I pointed out Gabriel and Saliba, right? I know you guys were trying to defend them, but I feel like they have a part to play, man. In that as well, right? Yes, they don't get paid to score goals, um, but I'm telling you, man, if there's someone out there on that field that's tripping you, bro, you start to actually want to like put in an extra mile, like or an extra shift. So yeah, for me, you guys do not perform right to or you're not gonna get over the line if your guys aren't willing to go out there right with a different mentality um in the Champions League. So yeah, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's fair, man. I think that's fair. Especially when we're looking, right? You're looking now into the future and the big picture and what
Mm,
this means for the Champions League. Because let's face it, right? Today sucks. It was a loss, but it's not the be all end all because we didn't go into the beginning of the season saying this was like a primary competition that we must win and that we need to win, and therefore the manager will be judged based on this competition. Like, no, we still have bigger things that we're fighting for. It's just that, these concerns, right? These are concerns that have been there, and I think they kind of you know, they came to light in this game. And it's just a matter of like, will it affect us now going forward? How do we bounce back? Because like you said, the Champions League is a much bigger and brighter stage than this, right? So, those things certain things have to change. If we're gonna be looking to win the other major competitions, to be honest with you. So I think
hmm
those are fair points, right? Because I pointed down to the Declan Rice thing, like you said, you've seen him before, and he's shown leadership qualities, and he's shown what he's really about. Like we know what he's all about generally, right? You just
mm,
put this one down today to a bad day at the office. But unfortunately, in a cup final, right, this is when the best players get judged, and you can't really have, it's maybe harsh to say, but you can't have a bad day at the office in a final, right? That's you're
mm.
going to be judged in your career based on,
I
how
agree.
you've done in finals and things like that. So, um,
I agree. I like that because you put all this work to get to that stage for you just to not show up. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like
exactly.
I like that. Like where there's no excuse for not showing up in a finals game.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, bro, I wanna get your take on bro, what's Ben White saying, bro?
Hmm.
Huh? You saw what he did to Shirky? Like what the fuck?
Oh,
Yeah, bro. Like, well, what's that all about?
listen, I don't know about you. I like that. I actually thought that was one of the highlights of our game because we had nothing else really going for us.
Mm,
It's one of those things they say, right? And your coach will tell you this, right? For those who play the game as well,
mm,
right? If somebody is you're already 2-0 down in the game, and somebody is showboating you like that, right? And disrespecting you. And for those again who don't know the further context is that Ryan Cherky, right, at some point in the game, and this part got Laurent amped people, right? Laurent, Ryan Cherky gets the ball, I think, from a diagonal switch of play, and at this point, Ryan Cherky's on the byline or the touch line, sorry, and he controls the ball, and in Neymar fashion, does a bit of keep ups, right? Does a little keepy ups, keepy uppies in the game, mid game, right? This is not during any stoppage of play or like a player's on the ground or there's a water break. Nah, mid game, this guy is doing, he controls the ball and is doing keep ups mid game, bro. You know?
Mm,
And the closest guy to him, right? That's probably that's Ben White's side. You can say that area, right back area. Like to me, that's a sign of disrespect, you know?
mm.
Um, yeah, man. It's so, and if anything, right? So obviously what Ben White did, for those who don't know, is he gave it back a little bit. You know, like I think the next player, the next couple
Yeah,
plays,
yeah, yeah.
gave him a pretty bad foul. I think it was from behind, which he ended up
Mm,
getting booked for. So he kind of got stuck into him,
mm,
um, and got fouled for it. But I personally like that stuff, man, because like I said, any coach
mm,
will tell you, right? Um, opposition teams and opposition players that if they're gonna, show that sort of disrespect on the field or that bit of showboating, all right, yeah, like you gotta next time just let them know that you're there, and
mm,
just let them know that you didn't rate that, you didn't appreciate that. You know what I mean? And
mm,
there's those kind of players. We talked about it offline today, right, Laurent? Me and you and the guys.
mm,
Certain players like to, they have that style of play where, okay, like even in men's leagues and things like that, listen, if you're gonna be that showboat kind of player and you're gonna come with that flair and try and do all that saucy shit, you better be wearing
yeah.
shin pads that game because
Mm,
guys are gonna come for you, right?
mm-hmm.
So that obviously that applies in men's league, but clearly it applies at this level too. And I'm happy to see that, right? You don't want to see Arsenal used to be called out for having a soft underbelly, right? When we
Mm,
were, in the Arsene Wenger latter years and stuff. It's like
right.
we used to let teams do that to us all the time. Whether it was like, teams walking us off the park in terms of like, tiki-taka, boom, 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 we get through your back line and just they just play around us for fun. Or,
Mm,
you know, playing prime Barcelona teams in the Champions League where Neymar and these guys just used to, dangle fucking Hector Bellerin or just beat our guys with ease, and make us look silly, and no one would do
mm,
anything about it. You know what I mean? We would just allow
right,
it. Say,
right.
ah, shit, we got beat. They scored on us again. It's 3-4-0. We're just gonna allow it and see out the game. We kind of hide and walk out with our tail between our legs. If you're getting pumped in a game or guys are showboating in front of you, at least walk out of that game saying that you laid it into somebody. Pause. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm,
Just you
mm,
gave them a little cheeky foul from behind. Just let them know that you're there. You know what I mean? Just like, yo,
mm.
don't try that again near me. Like, if you're gonna do that, Turkey, go and do it on the left side of the pitch, or but if you're gonna do that on my side, I'm gonna
Mm,
get stuck into you. So, listen,
mm,
I like that from Ben White. He's that kind of player.
yeah.
He's got a bit of the dark arts in him. And yeah, like I said,
Mm,
once upon a time when we were already losing a game that badly, and a player or a team is showboating that against us, we kind of just allow it and just
mm,
we go into hiding and say, like, but at this point, shit, we're already losing like that. Turkey, in my opinion, is showing a little bit of disrespect, but do I hate it? Like, I mean, it is what it is. Pep didn't like it. I don't know if you saw the reaction from Pep. Like, Pep was shaking his head when Turkey did that. He didn't like the fact that his player is doing that stuff.
bro, like,
Um,
what the fuck is that, bro? I know I seen the video,
yeah,
and come on, bro. Like, really, Pep? Are you serious? And yo, I think it was like one or two keep ups, right? No, I swear it was no more than three.
maybe like three or four.
Nah, man. Are you serious?
Yeah,
No, no,
something
no,
like
no,
that.
no. Yeah, I gotta watch that again, but I swear it was like one or two, bro.
And also
So,
when you look at, we had the benefit of seeing it in slow motion too. I mean,
mm,
obviously also that look on Turkey's face as he's doing, you know what I mean? He has that
yeah, so
look of
not
like,
nonchalant, like,
bro,
like
I'm like,
really,
listen,
yeah,
man. So it was all of
yeah.
that, man.
Yo,
You know?
yeah, yeah, yeah. But yo, what does that show? It's a guy who's comfortable on the ball. You know what I mean? Like, and that's for me that you want to see that in your players, right? Um, and obviously, right? You mentioned the Neymars
Mm,
because like when a guy's doing that in game, you could, bro, that guy is he wants the ball, right? He's not shy, right? And he's not running away from anything. And when you look at the passages of play for Shirky, right? You saw that, right? In his intentions. Um, and sometimes I feel like, yo, that's what it takes to get yourself psychologically into the game to even want to like, like beat a man, right? Where
mm,
do a little something, right? Get the crowd to play into it, right? Because I swear, I remember when he did that. I think we heard something from the crowd as well.
mm,
If I remember, definitely boos from the Arsenal side, but cheers from the Man City fans, right?
mm.
So yeah, man, like I love it, man. I love it. I love it. Like yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no. It was one of those ones where, yeah, I'm just there and I'm like, yeah, this is embarrassing, bro. Just ref, just call the game. You know what I mean? Like guys are doing this
Mm,
to us, but yeah, like I said, I'm glad that we have guys in our team now who aren't gonna allow that shit. Like Ben White just had to let him know, like, don't try that
mm.
again. At least not on my side of the pitch.
Wait,
Um,
who's the Arsenal player on your side who would be the closest to doing that? What Turkey did?
you know what's funny? I remember last year at the Bernabeu actually.
Mm,
Martinelli did that to no, sorry, not that specifically, but he like teased, I think it was Endrick. Well, he
Mm,
gave Endrick a dirty Meg or a salad, for those who
uh-huh.
know the term salad. Shout out my Jamaican people.
Mm,
Yeah, gave him a little bit of a Meg. I think you might have been, I think you came to watch that game too with us at the gatherings. But yeah, so it was second leg of the Bernabeu, Martinelli. Yeah, just gave Endrick a cheeky Meg when he knew I think the game was won and we already qualified and
mm,
whatever. Same sort of position. You know, we were in a commanding position. Game's sort of already won, and yeah, you know, Martinelli's just on the touchline and gives Endrick
mm.
a little Meg in the Bernabeu. Um,
Okay.
Martinelli will do that sometimes too. Like again, when you know when we're winning, and that's another thing too, right? It's one thing to do that like Turkey. It's one thing to do that when you know you've already won the game and it's 2-0 and like we've already like mentally checked out. It's like, you know, do that when it's like 0-0, you know, or do that when it's you know, like when the game is still in the balance, you know,
Mm,
try and do it at that time, you know?
mm,
You know, so Martinelli has that same kind of thing where he'll do that, like, you know, he'll never like try that, like again, if it's like 0-0 or like the game is tight and you know,
right.
because Arteta, if he lost the ball, Arteta would have a heart attack. Um, but yeah, like when the game is won, right, and we're in a comfortable position, like I've seen Martinelli do that from time to time, where he'll start doing little showboating tricks, and like that's when the Brazilian passport comes out.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Magically, just
Yeah,
magically
yeah. All
appears.
of a sudden
Yeah.
he's Brazilian, right? When we're winning
Yeah.
3-4-0 at the Emirates, you know, that's when sometimes he'll do a one
Uh,
two.
mm,
But yeah, no, I think otherwise, yeah, who else really has that kind of sauce? Trossard from time to time. Trossard
okay.
will do that from time to time, man. Maybe Eze too, actually. That's another one I forgot.
Ah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
Eze.
yeah. I can see.
Yeah.
I
He
can
was a
see.
big miss in this game today, man. Eze, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, yeah.
Just when he was
Definitely.
getting in form and he was like showing some confidence.
Hmm. Yeah, huge miss. But wait, it was injury? That's why he didn't
Yeah, it's injury. Apparently he's got a calf injury.
oh.
Yeah, we have a couple players at the moment pulling out of international duty through injury, which I think Arteta's finally starting to be smart and saying, "Yo, we have
Hmm.
we have we have a title race to play for and a couple competitions that we're still fighting in." So I think we're one of those under the cover pulling players out of international duty and saying, "Yeah, you know, so and so's got a little bit of an injury. You know, he's staying home for 2 weeks. Thanks."
Right,
It's one of
right.
those, you know.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, listen, man, that was a nice little therapy session on the game. I needed that. I enjoyed that. That was good. I needed to get that out, man. It was
Anytime, bro. Anytime. And just so you know, bro, I'm here for you and all Arsenal fans. Vaughn, you as well. I will be seeing you at the next one. Um, seemingly, I don't know why, but the fans at the gathering do not want me coming back. They say I bring with me some bad juju or something, right? Um, I mean, I don't know. Is that the case, or you guys feel like I bring bad luck when I come and watch the games?
listen, I'll gladly have you at the gatherings, bro. I enjoy it personally. You know, I enjoy your company there. It's you know, you're good for the vibes, for the different perspective, the banter, all that. Like I'm here for it, you know. Just make sure you still show up for games that, you know, you
All right.
think that we're I told you because I said it earlier today. You only show up like you take these calculated risks. You know, you'll show up, you'll look at the opposition, you'll be like, they have a chance of losing today. You know, so I'll show up then. You know, this guy, man. Um,
Oh man.
but yeah, we'll unless anything else you wanted to talk about for this game before we move
No.
on.
Yeah, no, no.
Yeah.
I think yeah, we've covered it fairly deeply. Yeah, no. Yeah,
All
we
right,
can
cool. Yeah, we spent a good amount of time on dissecting it, actually talking about it, which is good. I enjoyed it. Um, but yeah, man, just quickly now. I mean, we'll cover what happened in the Premier League just because there were Premier League games this weekend. Um, we'll just quickly run over some of the results. On the Friday night kickoff, it was Bournemouth versus Man United. A 2-2 draw over there at the Vitality. Um, a result that, like as you could say, looked damaging maybe for United at the time and their Champions League hopes. But again, when you see the results of the rest of the weekend, especially for those fighting in and around those positions, the draw didn't look too bad for them in the end. It didn't damage them too much. They're still in a pretty commanding position, I would say, in terms of their hopes for Champions League football next season. Um, but who isn't looking so good for that at the moment is Liverpool, man. What's going on with them? They lose 2-1 to Brighton um at the Amex. stadium there. So that's a pretty poor result for them off the back of
A great win, which
yeah,
I don't think anyone expected. Well, I don't know, maybe some did, but I expect them to win that
against
game,
Brighton.
right? Yeah, I know, because I feel like just with the Champions League victory, you take that in, right?
Hmm.
But yeah,
Yeah, yeah, that's a pretty damaging defeat for them, man. It's the likes of Mehrdad will be happy. He's you know not Arnie Slot's biggest fan, to say the
to
least.
the
So
least.
I know he
Right.
was doing a little jump for joy. Um, Fulham beat Burnley 3-1. As Fulham would kind of continue on their quest to finish in the top half of the table. At the beginning of the season, Fulham was my overachieving team, I believe. I think I put them in there. And I think so far they're kind of living up to that. They're having a pretty decent season to their standards, on the right side of the top half of the table at the moment. So um, yeah, they roll on. Geez, do we talk about this one now or save it for the end? I mean, we're here now, so
Might as well.
let's
We
talk about it.
might as well. Um,
Yeah. Everton 3-0 against Chelsea in what was, I think, a very, very worrying and damaging defeat to Chelsea Football Club. And contrary to popular belief, people, Laurent is actually a Chelsea fan, not a City fan. So yeah, man, what? I'm sure you're not happy about this one. Tell us your thoughts, man. How did that game go? Because I did not see it at all, but I also didn't see the result coming. So what the hell happened here?
I think worst game of the season. Um, Worst game under the new manager. This is even worse than the PSG defeat combined, like both those games, right? Yeah, this was just ugly. Just yeah, this is piss poor, piss poor. And in terms of even the body language from the players, you can tell like it's a complete mess at the club. And after the final whistle, apparently, even in terms of the players' reaction to the manager himself, right? It wasn't good. Um, so yeah, man,
In terms of what happened after the final whistle?
it seems like the the players were shunning uh, the Liam, right? So some would say that he's lost the players, right? He's lost the dressing room.
Wow,
That's
already.
yeah, it's very worrying. Um, but yeah, I don't even know what to tell you with this, man. This is it's piss poor, piss poor. And yeah, like you thought that they would bounce back from after the PSG game, but nothing of sorts. Yeah.
So were they not on it even like from kickoff, or like did they just start to drop off? Like did heads just drop after they conceded the first one, and it's like
It,
or were they just not on
it's
it from the
just
jump?
yeah, no, like
Damn.
from the jump, and then on the attack, not much, and obviously the defense, right? But yeah, no, this one was a painful one, man. It's because again, right? There's so much at play. Liverpool and Man U dropping points. You have an
Yeah,
opportunity here, right? And then you go and do that, and then it's a type of performance as well. Like this was bad.
because
But yeah,
in the table, I'm just looking where you guys are at in the table. So assuming five teams get in the Champions League next season, you're only 1 point off Liverpool, but I mean at the moment it's what, 6 points off Villa and then 7 points off United. Do I have that right?
yep,
49, 50. Yeah. Um, and I think at some point too, you may even have to be looking behind you. You know what I mean? Like the
yeah,
likes of Brentford, Everton themselves,
yeah,
if you guys don't fix up.
yeah. And I mean, again, these run of fixtures, right, are fairly tough. Um, yeah, I don't know what to tell you, bro. Not gonna lie. But something has to give. Something has to give. I don't know what. And I'm hoping these protests, right, can bring in some change or something, right? Something different. But I feel like the confidence has been shot for the most part, right? Because again, like even when we do say right that on the offense, right, maybe the quality isn't all there, but for you guys to go and have a performance like that, right? When we've seen that, that first game against PSG, you can go toe to toe with a team like that, right? And then obviously you make your mistakes, but yeah, to play like that, come on, man, you're making these guys look like you know what I'm saying, that they're high caliber, and yeah.
Mm. Cole Palmer, man. So what happened? What's happening with him? Just another bad performance?
I think it wasn't his worst performances, but what like from what I've noticed, players are pretty selfish, right? And also Cole Palmer's reaction to when he doesn't get the ball, right? He gets pretty animated.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, no, like I feel like just players are just selfish all around, and at times, like, oh, you didn't pass me the bar, and I won't, you know, you know what I mean? Like I won't get you on the next one, right? Um, and that shouldn't, right? That shouldn't be how it is, right?
Yeah.
In a team sport. Um, but yeah, no, he definitely has to step it up, and we'll need him, especially if we're looking to compete in the FA Cup, right? A player like that is someone who can bring in that spark, right? That creativity. And as of now, he is looking a shell of his former self. So yeah,
Damn. Well, big problems at the bridge, man. Big problems at the bridge. Let's see what happens this summer and if things get shaken up. But obviously before that, we're gonna have to see how the rest of the season concludes for you guys.
yeah, you guys would
But
probably love it if it stays like this, you know.
oh yeah, I could care less, man. I really could. Um, sorry
Uh,
to say, man, but yeah,
listen, I appreciate the honesty.
yeah, man. I'm not gonna do what you do and like, that reverse psychology. Listen, I hope you guys do win it. No, man, none of that over here. Long may it continue, man. Um, yeah, man. Leeds Brentford was kind of a stinker, 0-0 there. Um, yeah, Brentford had a chance actually to put two more points on the board to
Mm,
close the gap even further to Chelsea, but obviously that didn't happen. Leeds, I think they're pretty safe even from relegation too at this point. Which would be an accomplishment for Leeds considering their first season back in the Premier League from the Championship. If they stay up, that's good enough for them. Um, in terms of staying up now, geez, Spurs, Nottingham Forest. Forest went to Spurs ground and slapped them right up, 3-0. That is, I think, the worst result of the weekend from Premier League clubs. I think that's even worse than Chelsea losing 3-0 at Everton, simply because, Tottenham, again, you're at home in a relegation battle. You're traditionally one of the bigger clubs in England, right? You're in that top six somehow. I don't know how, by the way, Spurs were ever finessed into being a top six club and in that conversation. I don't think they sit at the table of any of the other traditional big six clubs in the league. I feel like to be considered a big six club in the Premier League, you have to have won the damn thing. And these guys have never won a Premier League. So, anyways, that's besides the point. But yeah, man, a big club like Spurs, big shiny stadium, big players traditionally, um, really and truly have a chance now of getting relegated. Like that is just insane to me. And again, off the back of them getting a good moral victory against Atletico Madrid in the week, right? Obviously they didn't go through, but they did bow out with some pride because they won that game. You think that would galvanize the group, right? Even off the back of that draw that they got at Liverpool last weekend in the Premier League. I watched that game at Anfield when they drew 1-1, and that was a good point for them. They actually should have won the game in the end. So you think there was going to be an upturn of form, but bro, I did not see this coming. Like we all predicted Spurs to win, and you
yep,
go and get slapped at home in a relegation battle to Forest. Like that's that's not a
unacceptable.
good look, man. Yeah, like I don't know. I mean, neither of us watched this game really, but like, you have any quick thoughts on that? I know you said it's unacceptable, but like, do you want to elaborate on that? I mean, bro.
I did get a chance to see the highlights, Cause yeah, I got curious as to how the hell that even happened.
Mm,
And oh man, yeah, that I don't know, that left a bad taste in my mouth, man. Watching that, um, I don't even know what to make of it because they seriously look like they might go under at this point. I know we've been hinting at it for a few weeks. Um, I mean, a few weeks ago, it was all in the realm of imagination.
hmm
I think for all of us, but now it's looking like a stark situation for these guys. Um, do they sack him? That's the question. And now, if you do, right, who do you bring in? And is that even the right move to make? Like for me, like you see what I'm saying? But
mm,
it all things points to you should get rid of this guy because it doesn't seem like he's the guy to be able to turn it around at this stage, right? So,
mm.
um, yeah, I do think the owners are gonna have to make a decision and very quickly. But yeah, all in all, and shout out to Forrest, for keeping us entertained. Um, because I think I'm gonna start watching some Spurs games, man. If I'm being completely honest, just to see if these guys are actually gonna allow this to happen. Um,
Can you imagine?
yeah, yeah,
Ah.
yeah. Wait, what? Because I know you know some Spurs fans, right?
Mm.
Have you had the chance to talk to them on the back of this result?
No, not today. I mean, again, obviously,
Mm,
I'm drowning in my own sorrows from today's loss for my club. So no, I haven't really touched base with Spurs fans.
okay.
Too tough. But yeah, I'll do a wellness check on them in the week and see how things are going. But yeah, I can't imagine they're in the best of moods
Yeah.
because, bro, just imagine, imagine knowing like there actually is a genuine possibility of your club like getting relegated. You know what I mean? Like that is
Mm,
crazy.
yeah.
Before it was just like you said, it was just a whatever, like an afterthought or like something like you laugh off, you banter, but these guys could genuinely be getting relegated.
Mm. And you guys are here for it.
Again, another one I have no sympathy for, you know? Zero sympathy whatsoever. In fact, I don't even want to give them any more airtime. Let's keep it moving.
Yeah.
Uh, Newcastle Sunderland is a derby, big derby, in England. I was actually watching some video clips of before and after. There's some ugly scenes with beef with stands in the sorry with fans in the on the streets before and after. This game was at St. James's Park in Newcastle, and yeah, there was a lot of it was a feisty one, man. Certainly off the pitch because yeah, like I said, there's some ugly videos going around of some fights breaking out in the streets, and yeah, it was rough, man. This derby is serious for those who don't know. In England, Newcastle Sunderland is a very serious derby traditionally. And whilst, we don't like to see violence and encourage violence and things like that, you don't want to see those things happen. Um, but yeah, in terms of the rivalry and the derby itself, again, it's good that Sunderland is back in the Premier League for the rivalry and for what is such a big game. And yeah, Sunderland just managed to prove again, like their Cinderella story of a season continues in terms of they're definitely, like staying up. That's at the very least. That would have been the bare minimum requirement for them coming back into the league this season is for them to survive, and they've done more than that. They've beaten their rivals twice this season, so they've now done the double over Newcastle, home and away, which is again just goes to say a lot more about Newcastle as well. Because again, this is another club who was just in the Champions League this season. They're looking to be part of that big six, talk of teams in England, with the money they spend now and all that. And to go and lose to Sunderland, your local rivals twice, newly promoted Sunderland, that's not a good look. Off the back of getting slapped in the Champions League as well.
Mm,
Um, yeah, man, that's a shocker there as well. So Newcastle fans aren't happy. Eddie Howe may be under a bit of pressure, their manager. Um, so yeah, let's see how that one pans out. They're in the mud right now too. Listen, one thing I will say from an Arsenal perspective, we're talking about all these, these big clubs in the Premier League who are in the mud right now, whether it's Chelsea, whether it's Spurs, Newcastle, I guess even Liverpool this season. As an Arsenal fan, and you've alluded to this, fair play to you. You've alluded to this for a while now. It's like we got to go now and capitalize on this. Like this is our season to win, man. Because again, these things happen in swings and roundabouts, as I always say, and clubs always have their times, right? So some of these clubs will come back up, and maybe sometime it will be Newcastle's time because they have a lot of money, right? They're one of the richest, if not the richest club now in the world with their ownership. Um, And yeah, man, some of these big clubs that are in a bit of turmoil at the moment, again, we can, I mean, I say we, I can laugh at them now. I can laugh at even you guys now, right? From a privileged position of strength. So long as I get my Premier League crown, it'll be even sweeter, of course. But yeah, man, yeah, these things happen in swings and roundabouts, and so I'm not here for any sympathy for any of these other big clubs and what they're going through at the moment because we've had our time, man. We've been in the mud and we were laughed at, and we were bantered at. So we all just got to take our medicine, right? As they say, when it's your turn to hold the smoke, you got to just hold it. And then when it's your time to rise again, you enjoy it. I guess that's part of being a football fan, right? That's it's all part of the highs and lows. But yeah, man. Even for Newcastle, because again, Newcastle, whenever they play us, yeah, there's a bit of bad blood with us and them too sometimes. So yeah, I'm here and I'm here for what they're going through at the moment. Um, and lastly, for the weekend, it was Villa against West Ham. Villa, who is sort of competing with the likes of Chelsea and United and Liverpool at the moment for those Champions League spots. They put themselves in a good position today by winning 2-0 against West Ham. For those of us who are looking for Spurs to hopefully get relegated, we were hoping for West Ham to get a result in this one, but it wasn't to be. Aston Villa I didn't see the game. I don't know if you did, Laurent, but it looks like a pretty convincing 2-0 straightforward victory for them, and they're just further cementing their position
Yep.
as a Champions League club for next season. So yeah, let's see how the rest of that pans out, and that concludes the Premier League games for the weekend, and we are now in the dreaded international break. But I say dreaded. I mean, I'm sure for one reason or another, we can all use the international break now, just a bit change of scenery, change of pace. Again, for the likes of Chelsea, like, right, who aren't in the greatest of moments at the time. In
Mm.
this moment in time, maybe you need this international break as just like a reset and just to take a break, man, from what has been a tough season for you guys, right?
Yep.
And then in our case, right, coming off the back of this loss now, is a chance for us to reflect. Maybe some would say we've been humbled by City, and now it's like we need to regroup and go again because once the international break concludes, it's now the real, I guess the second part of the business end of the season, and now there's things for us to fight for up until the very end. And we need to look at how we performed today and use that as a blueprint for how we want to move forward if we are to pick up any trophies this season. Because games like today and performances like today cannot exist, right? If we want to win any of the major honors um, going forward for the rest of the season. So yeah, timely break. Um, some of us have interest in the international games going on this break as well. Myself, I'll be trying to watch, and support Jamaica, even though I don't have high hopes for them. Laurent is waiting
Ha.
patiently for us on the other side.
Mm.
Congo. So, for those who don't know, if Jamaica beats New Caledonia, then we will play Congo in the playoff round for um, to get into the World Cup. So let's see how that pans out. Um, yeah, I think Laurent wants Jamaica to win against New Caledonia just so Congo can beat up on us. But
I think it'd be a good game. Well, it'd be a better game than right, New Caledonia versus
yeah, to
us.
be honest, I give us
Yeah.
no hope. Like if we meet you guys, I think you guys will win, unfortunately. But because again, we haven't been too promising, man. Like I said, I
Mm.
haven't been convinced with Jamaica. The whole organization as the Jamaican national team, the federation, as a structure too, just needs to change and revamp and remodel how they do things because it's kind of a mess at the moment. Like there's talent there, but
Mm.
it's not being run properly at the moment.
All right. Wow.
So it's just kind of a mess. Yeah. So well, listen, man, if we get in now, it'll be some sort of miracle, but I don't give us too much hope. Again, New Caledonia, sure, but after that, I think we'll come unstuck. But let's see how it pans out, man. It should be interesting. Anything else you're going to be doing during the international break? Just watching? Are you going to watch any football? Or are you just going to switch off completely until we come back?
Yeah. Honestly, I'm probably just gonna watch those two games for me. Um, yeah. But
Do you
that
watch
probably.
Canada at all? Do you have any interest in Canada?
No, not really. I'm gonna keep it, 100, as they say. Yeah.
Guys, on and off the field, Laurent doesn't really claim Canada too tough. So
Wow, bro. I mean,
Uh,
listen. I don't think they needed to hear that, but hey, it is what it is. Um, but listen, I mean, I'm hearing the Canadian soccer team is has improved a lot over the years. Um, yeah, and I'd be interested to see how they fare in this edition of the World Cup. Right? You give him hope to go far?
defined far. I mean, this at this point, right? This time around, if they get out of the group stage, that's an improvement.
Who's in their group? You know?
I don't remember. Honestly, like you, I'm not even gonna cap, bro. I'm like you. Like I don't pay too much attention to Canada,
Are
the
you
Canadian,
serious?
Canadian. Yeah, man. I'm more of a again. I'll watch Jamaica or support them, but they never
Oh,
make major tournaments anyways. But if not Jamaica, I've always supported Brazil when it comes to the World Cup.
mm,
Um, again, just a little inside info, FYI for the followers. Jamaicans tend to, support Brazil when it comes to international football. Because Brazilians are what Jamaicans aspire to be in terms of like, Jamaicans, we have Brazilian playing style in terms of like, Jamaicans love to play with flair and sauce and free and individual freedom, but we're just never, good enough in terms of, I guess, an organized team structure to make it to that level, because we have, like I said, we have the talent. We're just not we're a bit of a dysfunctional group at the moment, So, but yeah, Jamaicans have always looked to up to Brazil in terms of style of play because we have a similar playing style. Obviously, they're just better with it.
mm,
Um, so yeah, well, my dad, right, supports Brazil, and that's why I grew up supporting Brazil because of my dad, in terms of the way they play and some of the players they've had over the years. And then I also have English side in my family, English representation, so I support England for that reason too.
right.
So yeah, those are normally my main sides. So don't worry, bro. I'm like you as well, man. Like Canada, I haven't really paid too much attention to them too tough on the footballing side of things, but so
Mm,
long as they're in it, right, and the games are being played in our backyard, I feel like I have obligations to tune in, right?
right.
You surely you'll be watching Canada too when the games are on.
Probably not. No, if I'm being completely honest. Yeah, I think they're gonna have to earn my view. You know, like so if they make it to a knockout, that's probably when I'll probably tune in. Yeah.
Yeah, this guy's making it well and truly clear he's on the bandwagon. You know what I mean? Those people that just tune in for like Super Bowl finals or like whatever, Blue Jays in the finals and like, oh yeah, I've always supported. Like, man's like, you come out and straight up said, no, listen, it is what it is. In the knockout stages, I'm locked in, but before then, nah. Open
Yeah.
bandwagoner, but that's fine. It
Mm.
is what it is.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you gotta be honest about these things, right?
Yeah, yeah. No, fair enough, man. Fair play. Fair fucking play. Um, but yeah, viewers and listeners, we've come to the end of our segment today. It's been a good episode, man. I enjoyed it. We've had a nice little, again, I call it Arsenal therapy, about the unfortunate EFL Cup final today. And yeah, there's still a lot to play for in the season, and even for Chelsea as well. Obviously, there's things to play for. So it should be an interesting end to the season once the international break finishes. But yeah, the content is going to continue, guys. So, be here with us. We're going to be covering quite a few things over the break as well. Probably one or two special guests again. Um, so yeah, continue to be with us here. Like, subscribe, hype, share the videos. But yeah, most importantly, like I said, just subscribe to the channel, and it really, really does help us. Where we're on our journey, on our quest to improve in all areas, right? It's all about improvement in life, and we're always looking to take the next step. Um, and so, yeah, man, thanks for being with us. And for the folks that we saw and chatted with at gatherings today, it was nice seeing you guys. We'll be back again over there after the break as well.
100%. No,
Champions
100%.
Leagues, Laurent will come with an Arsenal kit. Um, you know, but yeah, man, we're here, man. Laurent, anything else you want to add as well?
No, no, no. Other than that, yeah, no. Thanks again for everyone that's been rocking with us since that very first episode. We're here, we're live, we're direct, and yeah, man, more footy to come for you guys. So just make sure you tune in, like, subscribe. Yeah.
Yes, sir. And with that, adios.
Peace.